Hello, hello, hello. Today, 10.5, we are going to be using trig to solve for the area of regular polygons. So we got my so, and we got my ka, and we got my toa. That's what we're going to be using to help us find the area. So right now, I want to figure out what is the area of this shape. This shape has 8 sides. So first thing I need to do is to find the central angle. And this is nothing new. Central angle is always 360 divided by how many sides we have. So that would give me 45 degrees. That's going to help us because next thing I want to do is draw my apothem. Same steps that we have been doing in the past, except now when I draw my apothem, and I'm going to label my angles. This is always half my side length, so that's going to give me 22.5. This is not a special right triangle. What? How do we do this now? Well, have no fear, Mrs. Frickman's here. I'm going to, again, like I typically do in class, zoom in on this right triangle right here. Wait a second, where did this 3.75 come from? Remember, when you draw on your apothem, it cuts the side length in half. My whole side length from this original problem was 7.5. So 7.5 divided by 2 is how I got my 3.75. And just like in the other problem, I need my side length and I need my apothem. So this is where the trig ratio comes into play. Here's my angle. I have my opposite, and I'm looking for my adjacent, because that's my apothem. So I'm going to have my O and A, so that's toa. So tan of my angle here is going to be equal to my opposite, 3.75, over my adjacent. So now I can cross multiply, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. I have A times tan of 22.5 is equal to 3.75. This is what I need to get rid of so I can get my A by itself. So it's being multiplied, so I'm going to divide both sides by tan of 22.5. Tan of 22.5. And I would get that my answer, A, is going to be equal to 9.1. So that's my apothem is 9.1. So that's where I've used that trig to find my apothem. This is 9.1. Now if I look back at what the area of a regular polygon is equal to. My A here, I just found out to be 9.1. Now I have to find my perimeter. Perimeter is always going to be my side length, which was 7.5, times how many sides I have. In this case, I have 8, which will give me 60. So now I can plug everything in. 1/2 times 9.1 times 60. So that's a 0. So the area of my octagon would be 273 centimeters squared. So let's review this. When we're solving for this, so I would write this down. Write this down. When I am solving this, first thing you should always do is find your central angle. That's number 1. Number 2, when we cut that in half, when we cut any shape in half to draw on the apothem, so you're drawing in the apothem, that's always cutting the angle in half and the side length. So you want to draw on your apothem to form your 90-degree triangle. Once you create your 90-degree triangle, you got to do some trig. So ka, toa. These are the same steps for all of these problems. So again, write this down so you know what problems you should do after the other. I want you to try to attempt this problem by yourself. First thing, when I'm looking at this picture, I'm going to say, how many sides do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have 9 sides. So again, pause the video right now and attempt the problem by yourself. first step is to find your central angle. In this case, it's 360 divided by 9 because I have 9 sides. So that's my 40. Then you want to draw in your apothem. Remember, your apothem always is going to cut your triangle in half. So to figure out my angle, I did 40 divided by 2 because it's your central angle divided by 2. To figure out your side length of your right triangle, you have to divide that by 2. So now your third step, you can do it. Setting up trig is fun. In this case, I used TOA because I have my opposite. I'm looking for my adjacent. So tan of 20 is going to be equal to 5 over a, cross multiply, and I'll get a times tan of 20. And this is what I want to get rid of, so I divide both sides by tan of 20, and I get 13.7. Now the very final step, find the area. So my perimeter here is 90, and my apothem is 13.7, so I wrote that in. So 1/2 times my apothem times my perimeter is going to give me 616.5. My units are centimeters squared. And my last problem that I want you to make sure to write down in your notebook. I need to solve for this, except once I get to my triangle, it's going to be a little different. I know that my central angle here is going to be 360 divided by 8 because I have 8 sides. So this whole thing right here is 45, and I've divided by 2, I have 22.5. So again, I'm just going to zoom in on this triangle, because this one's a little bit of a special case. This is 22.5. I don't have my apothem. I also don't have my side length, but I do have my hypotenuse. So I actually have to figure out both lengths. So if I first, using my angle, I have my hypotenuse, and x is looking for my opposite. So that's going to give me so. So looking for just the length of x, I have sine of 22.5 is equal to x over 16.2. So I would get that x is equal to 6.2. That's my x value. Now if I look at my a right here, I have my hypotenuse and I'm looking for my adjacent, so that's ka. So I'm going to have cosine of my angle, which is 22.5, is equal to a over 16.2 because that's my hypotenuse. And I would get that would be equal to 15 is equal to my apothem. Now I have everything that I need, but this is where you have to be very careful to figure out what your area is. Because my area is 1/2 times a times p. So if I figure out what 1/2, my apothem here is this length, which we found to be 15. This is where you have to be careful with the perimeter. Perimeter is going to be my side length times 8, because I have 8 sides here. I found that x is equal to 6.2, but x is just this length right here. So when you're using your side length, you have to make sure to include the whole length, the whole one side. So I actually have to do 6.2 times 2, because that's going to give me my whole length, which would be 12.4. So I'd put 12.4 into this spot, my side length. That's going to give me 99.2. So that's what I'm going to use for my perimeter. So this is a little bit longer of a problem because I have to figure out 2 numbers instead of just 1. So my area for this would be 744. Don't have units, so I'm going to write in units squared. Make sure that you took good notes and for sure had the last 2 problems in your notebook. Hey, you have a great day.